Hey guys, you found Catch 22. I'm Bill, and I got a new kayak. Yeah, I know I've been championing the Pelican Catch 120, and it's a great kayak, but something I've come to learn is that if you ask someone opinion on what their favorite kayak is or what the best kayak is, it's always going to be the kayak that they have, the kayak that they're in, the kayak that they're fishing with. So it's always going to be something they own. And the same is said with me and my love for the Catch 120. So I did indeed love my Catch 120. But to be more honest, I loved fishing, and it got me out on the water, and it got me fishing, and it introduced me to kayak fishing. So I'll always have a place for it, you know. But I upgraded big. Anyways, I sold the Catch 120. It's off to a new home. I'm hoping that the person who bought it is enjoying it as much as I did. And with purchasing my new kayak, I thought I'd take the opportunity to actually review several kayaks for you guys and give you what my opinion is. Again, it's just my opinion. Take it for what it's worth. But the way this all started is I had a buddy who was in the market for a kayak, and I was happy to get him in a kayak because that meant someone to go kayaking with. However, he's not into fishing, so it wasn't going to be a fishing kayak. He strictly wanted something more recreational and a little bit budget friendly. So we went out and about, and he sat in some kayaks, and I took him up to a place in northern Michigan that sells kayaks dirt cheap. They don't carry every brand, but the brands they do carry, they sell them as cheap as they can get away with. Yeah, I'll say that much. So we went to this place, and although he didn't find anything there that he liked, there was a kayak there that really piqued my interest. And it wasn't really on my radar because I just figured, you know, that's a $3,000 kayak. I am not spending that kind of money on a kayak. So when I saw it there for the price it was, it really piqued my interest. I wasn't even looking to upgrade at the time. I just saw this great kayak for an unbelievable price, and I thought, wow. But, you know, I filed it away. It's been in the back of my thoughts, and every now and then I would just devote a little bit of time thinking about what if, you know, it's a pretty nice kayak, what if. To get to the next level of the story, I saw that a local store, Summit Place Sports, was having a demos day on out on the water. So I called up my buddy and I said, hey, do you want to go try out some of these kayaks, you know, get a feel for it? You know, at the time he was dead set against the sit on top. He was strictly wanted to sit in. So I said, let's go test some of these kayaks out, see what you like. So we did. We went out, and I got to test out some kayaks. And that's what this video is. I tested out several kayaks. I'm gonna give you my thoughts on them, let you know what I liked or didn't like about them, and ultimately you'll find out the kayak that I did get in the next video. But let's get on with it. The first kayak that they put me in was a Slayer Propel 13. You know, this new kayak did have a pedal drive, so I wanted to try it out. They didn't have it on the beach at the time, at this demo days. So I said, just give me anything with a pedal drive. I wanna see what it's like. I've never pedaled a kayak. I've always paddled. So they put me in the Slayer Propel 13, and I want to say I got out maybe 5 yards, and I turned right back around and came right back in. The Slayer Propel was not for me. It was very unstable. Keep in mind that I'm a hefty guy, and someone of smaller stature would be probably just fine in this kayak. But for me, I didn't feel safe in it. I felt like I was a little too reclined when pedaling, and I just didn't enjoy it. So I didn't spend much time out on the water with it, and I didn't capture any footage of my time on the water in it, because it was so short-lived. But it looked like a great kayak. It had some nice fishing features, and I'm sure you can go online and get all the specs of it and learn about native watercrafts and see how great of a company it is. But for me personally, that kayak wasn't it. So again, I'm not really looking for a kayak at this point. I was only interested in testing out the one kayak that I had seen the good deal for. And I was actually hoping that I didn't like it. I was hoping that I'd try it out, I wouldn't like it, and that I could just forget about it and continue with my Catch 120. But that wasn't the case. Anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself. Where did I leave off? Oh yeah. Slayer Propel just wasn't for me. Some of the things I did like is that it had plenty of fishing features, and it's an American-made company. Those were some of the things that I was looking for. But it didn't have the stability I wanted, and it wasn't comfortable pedaling. So I got off the water, and I quickly went to what I thought was going to be my dream kayak. You know, I was never one for pedaling before, and so I always thought, man, that Jackson big rig. I'm a big guy. That big rig looks like, you know, it'll handle me just fine. I'll stand up in it. I'll fish. It had tons of storage and tons of fishing features. Jackson Kayaks is a great American company. I actually admire them quite a bit. So I got into the Jackson big rig. I paddled it around the water a little bit, and I enjoyed it. It had great fishing features. It had places to store your rods that you wouldn't think of. It had places to store tackle boxes. It had plenty of rails to attach attachments to. It had the big rocket launchers or Zuka launchers, whatever they're called, rod holders in the back. I mean, this kayak looked so good fishing wise. Color scheme was amazing. Loved it. Here's the drawback. I got into the kayak. I paddled about 4 times before I actually moved in the kayak. This kayak is a beast. It's a big kayak. It's a heavy kayak. It's extremely stable, but it's extremely slow. So slow to move. Speed wasn't good on it. Big wide turns. It took quite a bit to move it, and that was a big drawback. So again, the Jackson Big Rig, great size on the kayak, especially for someone like me. I felt extremely comfortable on it. I felt extremely confident on it. Plenty of excellent fishing features. I mean, Jackson really puts a lot of thought into their kayaks, but really slow and not hard to maneuver, but it took initiative to move that kayak around. So I paddled that back in, not completely deterred from getting a big rig, but not overly excited either. So beached that kayak, and I told the person helping me that so let's give that Mayfly a try. The Mayfly is a kayak by Jackson as well, who catered this to the fly fishermen.
So, Mayfly was initially designed specifically for
fly fishing, right?
Which, if you fly fish, it's great for you. If you don't, and you just do regular fishing, all the benefits are still there for it. You know, anti-snag type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You're still going to benefit from that. You'll notice that it has a lot of flat area. So you get the aluminum tracks, which most of the boats you look at, the standard tracks are going to be plastic.
Right.
But that flat area allows for other accessories that maybe aren't even out yet. That could be out in a year ago. Like if you wanted to put a boondocks cart on it.
Right.
You have tons of real estate to drill into the boat to put something else. And then obviously it has pretty much any of the boats here, the biggest open floor area. So when you're standing up, you have tons of real estate.
Yeah, on my Catch 120, it's completely open, so I understand that. What is this concaved for?
Fly reel.
Oh, okay. So it rests here, the reel drops down.
Yeah, reel drops in there, and then you tip your rod.
Goes in there.
Into there.
Okay.
So it still works with a non-fly.
Right. Obviously.
Yep.
All right, cool.
Yeah. And then this one's a little bit different as far as your footrests go.
Okay.
It uses this big block, which is nice because it gives you a little bit more options of where you can put your feet. And to move that back and forth, you just loosen and tighten.
Okay, I'm not a huge fly fisherman. I do fly fish on occasion. But looking at this fly fisherman's kayak, I knew I could convert it to my needs easily. It's a nice larger kayak, not as big as the big rig, but bigger than most. And sleek looking, very flat, nothing for your line to get caught up on. So I paddled this out, and man, it was a dream. I paddled it out. It didn't have that slow build up the speed as the big rig did. It moved very nicely and was extremely stable, almost as stable as the big rig. It had all those amazing fishing features. It was a great kayak. I had a lot of fun in it. I was very comfortable in it. I was very confident in it. And as I'm talking about it and thinking about it, there's a little bit of buyer's remorse or regret, because I really like that kayak. But it's not the kayak I went with, obviously. So all the positives aside, it's an American-made company. It paddles really well. It's very stable, very comfortable. It has plenty of fishing features. The only drawback is I'd have to work a little bit on it to get it more suited for my fishing rather than fly fishing. Just a little bit, not a lot. It's barely a drawback, because part of kayak fishing is not only the time you spend on the water, but the time you spend off the water working on your rig. So that was one drawback. The price was decent, actually, and especially at this demo days, they were offering any kayak was 10% off plus another $50 off if you purchased free installs. Like if you wanted to add a rudder or any other accessories, they would install it and not charge you for install. So that's a great deal. Summit Sports, hats off to you. Okay, that was the Mayfly. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. If I was buying a second kayak, that would be the kayak. In a heartbeat. Paddled amazing. Great kayak. So I beached that kayak. And there was a couple others I wanted to try. But I only ended up trying one more that day. And that was the Feelfree Lure 13.5.
This one's the Lure 13.5, which from what you've been trying so far, I'm guessing is the Feelfree that you want if you were getting a Feelfree.
Okay.
Yeah, just based on what you've been doing. It's going to be your most stable platform. similar to like the big rig and Mayfly and stuff like that.
They don't come preloaded with the rudders, do
the
they?
rudder is
extra. Okay.
Yep, but
do you guys install them at Summit? Perfect.
Yep, and today we're doing a special on free installs.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so today's demo pricing is 10% off the boat, an additional $50 off on top of that, and then 15% off on the accessories and free installs.
Nice.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Come on.
So you want to start with the seat up or down?
I'll leave it up.
Okay.
Okay, they're sharp-looking kayaks. They look very sturdy, and I love the feature of having the wheel in the keel, just for maneuverability. I mean, it's kind of a no-brainer, but I tried that out. Okay, I got in. I sat. I don't know if it was the highest seated position, but it was a fairly high seated position. So you felt a little tippy up there, but at the same time, I felt confident. That secondary stability stage in the kayak really came in and worked. I mean, at first I felt tippy, I'll admit, but then as I got more comfortable sitting up that high, I was actually enjoying it. It was fairly stable. Nice fishing features. There's their track rails. Well, I'll get into the pros and cons later. Stability is okay on it. I was in a higher seated position, so if I was lower, I'm sure it'd be rock solid. Standing up seemed easy in it because I was sitting up so high, and sharp-looking kayaks. Absolutely. Some nice fishing features, so that was good. Those are the pros. It moved. Speed was not an issue in the kayak. It didn't move as fast as the Mayfly. It didn't maneuver as well as the Mayfly. As a matter of fact, I felt the wind pushing me around more in this kayak than any of the other kayaks I tried. So the wind will get you on this one. So pros, sharp looking kayak. Stability looked good, felt good. That seat was pretty neat, being able to sit up as high or as low as you'd like, and some decent fishing features. The cons, the wind really got a hold of you, moved you around. It's an extremely heavy kayak, and the fishing features, although most are nice, things like the track system on there, you couldn't put a regular item made for the average track system. This track system was a little bit different. It's actually catered to only Feelfree items. So I didn't like the fact that I couldn't use universal items on the track system. The fact that I either had to buy adapters or actual Feelfree products. That was a big drawback for me. That, and it's not an American company. They're made in Australia, which is fine. Everything I own is not American made, but to know that I have an option between a foreign product or an American product, I'm going to go with an American product, plain and simple. So the Feelfree also was not for me, but is nice, and I would even put it probably in my top 5, probably, or close to it. So not a bad kayak. So these were the kayaks that I tested that day out on the water, thanks to Summit Place Sports. These were the kayaks I did not purchase, but I've now given you my thoughts on them. I hope this answers some questions you guys might have had on them. I hope that you got something out of this video. I hope this helps you with choosing the right kayak for yourselves. Please feel free to visit these companies online and look at these particular kayaks. I'll even link the kayaks in the description below. So if you want to read more about their specs and further detail on the features, please click on the links in the description and it'll take you there. I enjoyed most of these kayaks. I loved some of these kayaks, but there was a kayak that I enjoyed even more, and I'll reveal that in my next video, and you'll get to see what I chose, and you'll get to see me out on the water actually catching some fish. Thank you for joining me. Give these kayaks a look. They might be the kayak for you. Give it a shot. That Mayfly, I'm telling you guys, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a Mayfly in my future. But I've got a beaut of a kayak, and I can't wait to show you guys in the next vid. Until then, Catch 22, I'm Bill. I'll see you out on the water.